Hey guys, Tarek with Cyclone FPV, and I'm just kind of sitting around. What's up, Jeff? Hey, Julio, how you doing, guys? I'm sitting around today working on some frame parts. I've got a quad to finish. I mean, I've got stuff all over my bench here. I'll show you. I got this quad, plus the one that I did a live build on a couple days ago, and then we lost internet. We were having some problems out here, so I've got to finish this one. And I'm working on some parts right now, as you can see right here. I'm going to move this little wheelie dealy around here so I can look straight at the camera when I'm doing this. One second. All right, so anyway, so I'm going to be working on these parts here, and I just figured, well, heck, I'm just kind of hanging out. Thought maybe we'd see what everybody's up to, and I don't know, just shout out to everyone. Anyway, so I'm going to work on some frame parts right now, and figured that I can show you guys kind of what goes into when I'm working with G10 here. Let me do a setup here on the screen. And let's see if I can do this here without screwing it up. 1 second. Let's see if I push this button and that button, and nothing's happening yet, but it will. I have faith. Let's put that right there. All right. So we'll do it. We'll go like this. All right. So there I am with my ugly mug. And hey, what's going on, Greg? All right. So I got the post down below. So I'm going to try to see if anybody types. I mean, this is kind of I'm sitting here kind of doing nothing, so I thought I'd clean up and then figured out, well, hell, I'll just do it live. Why not? So anyways, what I'm working on right now, what you can see is this is the G10 FR4 material. This is the material that I put into a lot of the quads I make now. I know carbon fiber is a big thing, and I use a lot of it, but figured, well, why not? I mean, I'm doing some G10 work, and I've got to clean up some parts that I just cut, so why not? We'll just jump into it. So at the same time, we can have a discussion. What I'm going to do here is I'm just going to spray with WD-40. I need to get some of this adhesive off, and this gets kind of messy here. But I'm going to be doing some cool little sales and stuff, and I figured, oh, hell, we can all shoot the shit about it and see what you guys want to have on sale, see what you guys need. I'm going through a lot of used parts right now, and so, or not used, but things that I don't even stock anymore that I just forgot that I had. So I'll be putting some sales on. But in the meantime, I'm going to clean these parts up here, okay? Now, these are the sides for the new Leviticus frame that we've got. This video could be completely boring. You may see something you like. You may have a question. I don't know. But I'm sitting up here doing nothing, so we're live. And these parts are actually going to be used on that live build that I was doing a couple days ago. And I did promise a free frame. I feel bad because the feed cut out. So I am going to make it up to those people that did tune in. Plus, I will probably add some more free frames just to kind of thank everybody for your support. So yeah, just hang tight and we'll see what's going on. What's up? What's up? G10 is like a glass composite. It's like a fiberglass kind of. It's basically the same thing as fiberglass, same category as fiberglass. It's man-made. Glass composite style, and as you can see it here in the screen, the G10, before carbon fiber became like the thing, G10 was the choice for a lot of people, and the reason is because G10 is very strong, and it's comparable to carbon fiber in strength. However, it's not brittle, therefore it will flex a little bit more than carbon fiber, where carbon fiber will snap. The biggest thing about G10, and my biggest thing about it is non-conductive. So I don't care if my board touches the frame. I don't care if the screw goes through the frame. Right now I'm just kind of squishing this WD-40 around here just to get off the rest of the adhesive. I just pulled these off the CNC, and they have adhesive from where you stick the G10 down to the board so it doesn't fly off when you're cutting it. G10's an awesome material. Hey, Dustin, how you doing, bud? Hey, haven't heard from you in a while. Hope you're doing well, Dustin. And so G10's my go-to material. Yeah, I know. It always smells like Hey, Aaron. Billy, I know. Trust me. I mean, everything smells like WD-40. All right, let me get some alcohol pads here, or alcohol wipes, and then we're going to wipe it down. So it's my go-to material. I like it over carbon fiber. Carbon fiber is more of a gives more of a fancy look. But on crash test comparisons, the difference I've experienced is that G10 will, here, let me angle this camera just a little bit up. Maybe we can get a little bit better shot. I don't know. All right, so G10 will usually just chip or flex, and won't snap like carbon fiber will. But it's not as pretty. You know, it's just like a fiberglass material. But I like it. I like it a lot more. So you'll see a lot of my quads with G10. It's more affordable, and you can be a little bit more picky on the sizes. Like I have a sheet of 8mm thick carbon fiber sitting over here that is extremely expensive. It'll be used for the X-Class frame that I'm cutting. But I can get the same in G10 for half the price. And like I said, it'll last and it'll withstand. All right, Dustin, no problem, bud. So anyway, I've got to go through some product, right? And I'm going to finish, again, what we just pointed out was this frame right here. So I'm going to be working on that one to the left that you see. For those of you that are tuning in, you can see the words. I'm not going to try to mix personal with this, but I am going to make an announcement just because I feel like it's important. So you'll see up there that there's a website. It's fightfordads.com. That actually will take you to a Facebook page that I have not launched yet. I mean, if you go there, you'll see a couple things. You'll start seeing me push that more with on my live things. I mean, not just, I won't be talking about it, but you'll see it written everywhere. I am fighting really hard for my boys right now, and in the process, it's taking a lot of my time. But rather than be quiet about it and let these people do all their crap, I'm going to start calling everyone out that was involved in either hitting my kids or trying to, protect the guy that was hitting my kids. And you'll see it kind of unfold here. So anyways, I'll get back to the drones now, but yeah, the one on the left is the one we're going to be working with. So let me put this back up and we'll shift back over here. All right. So anyway, so I'm getting these pieces cleaned up right now, and they're looking pretty good. You can see they're pretty shiny, and they don't really have any debris on them. So I'm going to show you how these are going to fit. I'm going to show you some of the other pieces I just cut, and then we're going to head over to the bench. As far as stuff to do for sales, well, guys, I'm kind of up for anything here. I'm going to really start focusing back on the frames. I kind of drifted for a little bit to get into more of the sales and finally get the website going, and my passion is really designing, making them, the frames. So I want to focus on that, which means I need to start moving some of my inventory a little bit quicker on components. So you guys tell me what you want, tell me what you need, and I'm going to try to accommodate you guys as much as possible. So please have that thought going and let me know. All right, so these are going to be done. I'm going to dry these off, and then I'm going to show you kind of what we're working with. So let me just put those in here. It stinks like WD-40. That's awesome. Terrible smell. Let me find my towel here. All right, so I'm going to take my microfiber. It's a fresh, clean microfiber towel. And now I'm going to go ahead and clean these off, and you can get a final look at what these will look like when they're cleaned up and sharp. All right. So yeah, Billy, it sucks, right? I mean, this thing with my boys is really, it's pathetic. And I know that douchebags are watching right now because they watch my channel and then they try to use that stuff in court, and I'm tired of it. So I was like, you know what, just watch away. And as you watch, let me call you out. So, there's this guy that decided to go ahead and play a game with my kids, and he thought it was a game, I guess is what he said. And anyways, long story short, he thought it'd be kind of funny to pop him in the privates. And unfortunately, for my kids, he hit them hard enough to knock them down. And my kid, one of them reported that he was hurting pretty bad. The other one reported he had a hard time getting up walking. So called CPS and stuff, and they came, and the guy got arrested. Believe it or not, their mother took his side and stood by him and stayed with him. And so this is where we are at today. So it's pretty pathetic, but I really don't care for these people, and I don't care if their lawyers are watching. I could care less about all of them. They lie. They want to do something to harm, to do whatever and call some bullshit. So anyways, you're going to start seeing some things posted on the website, on the Facebook page, and I'm actually going to put a $10,000 challenge. Now, this is, anybody who knows me knows that this is how I function. So I'm going to offer 10 grand, right? And this would be a legitimate challenge. I'm going to put some of the stuff up that was said in court, and I'm gonna offer, each one's gonna have $1,000 reward on it, or $1,000 bounty on it, or however you want to look at it. And whoever can find it, or prove it, or do whatever, I'm gonna pass you $1,000. There's gonna be 10 of those. You get to stand and make $10,000. No questions asked. Cash. Done deal. Okay. So I figured now, if these people can bullshit in court, we're going to go ahead and call them out online. And with all the viewers that we have, we should be able to get to the bottom of it and find out for real who was full of shit and who wasn't. Screw it. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. So anyways, the biggest thing is that on January 30th, I have court. And I'll just tell you real quick, because you guys may see an interruption. So the court is, believe it or not, while my kid's mom kept this guy out of jail, although he's got a what do you call it, a protective order, I guess the DA issued against him to be around the boys. She's but she stayed with him. She's trying to take me to court for child support, which is really screwed up. Not only have I paid it, I've paid beyond what is requested, but they're asking the court to put me in jail for 6 years. So keep the guy who hit the kids out of jail, put the dad who helped the kids and got rid of the guy in jail. So I figured it's payback time, right? If you go to the website, you're going to see the judge ask somebody to give me gloves, because I have tattoos on my hands, right? And this is a tattoo of a cross, and it's Corinthians 1:4, and it basically, it says Corinthians 1:4 right there. And it basically says, I thank God for you. I got it for my boys. I have one on each hand, so when I hold their hands when they were young, it was something nice. Well, the judge thought it'd be really cool, and the transcripts are online. You can see them, where she asked somebody in the court to give me gloves to cover my hands. That's the kind of shit that I dealt with down here. And Judge Stovall, you're a real piece of work, and I'm probably going to see you again. And and some people say, you talk shit about her, or next time you see her, well, you know what? I don't care. She's already done her number on me, so I think it's time that she kind of gets called out, and I don't really care at this point. And to the attorney there, Steve Jackson, the one that represents my ex-wife, who thinks that punching kids and pulling out your penis in front of kids and playing something called the Mangina game is cool, and called, what did he say? It was locker room something or other? I don't know, it's on there. Whatever his quote was, it's not. No adult should be pulling their penis out in front of kids and encouraging them to do the same thing. So thank God we got this guy with a protective order. It's a shame, though, that she chose to stay with him and defend him in this. So anyways, that's my battle, guys. And on the 30th, I'm either going to end up going to jail if this judge is a real piece of work and thinks that I didn't pay, or I'm not going to go to jail, and people are going to actually start listening and see that they can't sell the kids. They're not an asset that you just start collecting money on. It's pretty pathetic. But I know I'm drifting away from quads. The reason I'm telling you guys this is because the $10,000 challenge will be posted to you guys. So I'm going to invite all y'all, and if you can make the money, I'll pay you. I swear to God, I will. I'm looking forward to it. But the way I look at it is, you can bullshit in court, and you can cancel my trial. You can do anything you want. But when I call you out online and I put the money where the mouth is, we're going to see if you can really do it. So we'll have fun with that, guys. Now, getting back to the drones. Getting back to quads, let's shift back here, and I'll show you. Okay, so these are clean right now, right? So I'm going to shift back to doing this like this. Here we go. All right. So, yeah, that was me, Billy. that was me. Yeah, that was my trial, which was supposed to have, I think we had 15 witnesses, and you'll see what the judge said. She actually asked the bailiff for a gun. She asked him for his gun when I said I didn't understand why she was cutting the trial short. I had 15 or 18 witnesses, and when I tried to call the guy that actually hit the kids, she said there's no need to. Believe that. Guy that hits my kids, punches them in their privates, hits them in their privates, and there's no need to call him as a witness. Believe that shit, right? So thank you, Judge Stovall. You're a real piece of work. And like I said, I seriously doubt I'll ever regret this video, because you screwed with my kids, and it's pretty much a bullshit deal. My kids don't know yet, though, that I might end up, that I'm going to court on the 30th, and I asked their counselor to talk to them, but they're refusing. So if I just don't show up on the 30th to see my kids, I guess they'll just wonder where their dad is. Real good idea there, douchebags. All right, so we've got the sides done, right? And this is the frame that we were working on. All right, and so these sides are actually designed to sit in this slot right here. And so they'll pop right in and they'll fit perfect. I mean, they're within 1/100 of a millimeter in tolerance. So they'll fit right in. And then what we'll go over that is the LiPo holder, okay? I'll show you how that's gonna work. And then I'm gonna show you this bin here real quick of some of the other stuff I've been working on with this quad. Let me just pick that up real quick. And then we'll get to assembling, okay? So here are the arms. Here's some of the arms, right? And I just got done sanding these down. So they're pretty slick right now. Now this is the carbon fiber. This isn't G10, right? So I appreciate it, guys. I appreciate it. And you're right, kids aren't pawns. But they sure are for sale, aren't they? Oh, you know what? I will tell you. You got to see the. I'm sorry. I'm gonna go on a tangent here, and I promise I won't continue. But I got to say something. To the custody evaluator, Kit Harrison, you're a real piece of work too, bud. You know, this guy, Kit Harrison, and I'll show you guys, it'll be posted. And look, I could use your help in this. Let people know about the site. It's the only chance I got for people to actually, because right now what's happened is, you know, I took this to trial to get this guy out. And in return, I got handed my ass. And even though the guy's out, I also lost a lot of time with my kids because the judge stopped the trial 3 days early, didn't let me call the witnesses we wanted. You can read all of it. It's all posted online there on that page. But here's the kicker. Did you know that if your kid writes you, right, my son, if he texts you and you say, I love you too much, or he says, I love you, Dad, I miss you, and you say, I love you too, but I miss you, did you know that that is frowned upon because you should never tell your kids you miss them if they say that because it makes them feel I don't know, what was the word, like they're in control or some shit like that. Oh, and here's the kicker. My dad used to tell me this, and it was, hey, bud, if you're happy, I'm happy. And I actually wrote that, and you're going to see that on tonight. I'm going to post it tonight. I wrote that, and they used that against me in court. It was the one thing they took against me in court, and they said, by telling my son that if he's happy, I'm empowering him. I'm like, you guys are so full of shit. I'm actually just being a dad. I mean, if he's happy, I'm happy. What's wrong with it? Those are the kind of things they give you strikes on now. And it's these douchebag guys that have these huge egos. And Kit Harrison, you're a real piece of shit. And I'll probably have you evaluate me again, but you were a piece of shit the first time. And even though you said I should have custody if this guy's around, I mean, you did say that for me, you're still full of shit. I'm going to go ahead and put all your comments online so that people can really see HBO wasn't wrong when they did their documentary on you and you tried to sue them and you lost. Yeah. So good luck with that. All right, back to the quads. Here we go. So these are the arms that I'm working on right now. These are the new motor lock arms, right? And so I'm going to show you what these are like. And I think I showed you earlier, but let me grab something real quick and then we'll go over to the bench and finish this build. Let me see where I put this real quick. Give me 1 second. Okay, so the motor lock, right? And if you hadn't seen it before, I'm going to show you now. It's pretty cool, actually. I made this design, right? And it's basically for racers. Aaron is the one who tipped me on to needing to come up with a faster way to, if you break an arm or do stuff, you know, break your an arm on the quad or whatever. So you need to be able to replace the arm real quick. So this is what came up with, and I did this little design. I think you can see it there, right? And so this is how it works. You turn it, you pull it out, there you go. Now you can swap your arm, if the arm breaks. And because I've done this quick release here, and what you'll see, and I'll show you the video better on the bench, but I'm going to show you this real quick. So this arm is designed to pop in to this chamber here, just like that, and there's one screw hole, and that one screw hole will bolt in, and that'll be done with it. What's inside this frame is a carbon fiber X, and so each of these arms links in together into this X that's underneath these two plates. So it's solid. I mean, it's beyond solid. And you slide it in, and there's no movement at all. Even without the screw, there's no movement. But you can pop them out just like that. Take one screw out, and you can pop the arm out. And because if you break your arm, if you break the arm or whatever, if your motor's on there, you can just do a half turn on each motor, and then unscrew it, pop it out, and put it back in a new arm. So it takes you about 10 seconds to do the whole process once you get used to it. And you can actually have the arms the motors, the screws preset, right? So you have them in your bag with the screws, so you don't have to worry about finding screws to match the motor. And you have them preset, so then when you need them, you just pull them out, pop them in, and then you just twist it, and it's done. And are those the motor ESC combos? No, these are not combos. Let me switch over to the desk over here, and I'll show you what we're working with, okay? So let's do that real quick. There we go. It's a little messy right now, but it's because I got WD-40 all over the place here, too. I'm going to close this one off, and we'll bring this back over. So bear with me a second. Let me get arranged here, and we can start working on some of this stuff. So here we go. All right, let's put the phone here so I can read the comments, and here we go. Okay, so, oh yeah, thanks, Aaron. I mean, hey, man, this was after we talked. I told you, after we had our conversation, I said, I'm going to come up with something, and I think we got it the next day, right? So let me switch. Let me do this. And let me make sure I got the right camera. It's right here. And let's go over here. No, I don't need that. That's a mistake. There we go. All right. My Roomba's in the background singing, by the way. She's been yipping all day. Okay. So the way this quad is done, and this quad is, I think it's going to be, right now it's going to be on sale for $79.99. You know, that's kind of an intro thing. And I'd like to get it out there for people to test it. I love the frame. I think it's a really solid frame. But here are the components that go with it. And if I can, oh, here. Okay. So we've got the, this is the battery compartment at the top. This is for a top mount, right? And so what will happen is you'll take the arm and you will pop that in there just like this. And then you just put your, one bolt in, and as you can see here, it's got a standoff, and maybe it's better if I give you this angle too. So let's try this. I don't know which angle is better, but we'll try either way. Let's see. Maybe that works. I don't know. If that doesn't work, you'll tell me, and I'll switch camera angles. So these standoffs come in, and these basically will hold the battery plate, okay? So let me show you how that's going to work. So in here, we're using a 16mm screw. So we're going to go ahead and pop that in there, and there we go. And the holes are cut at, they're labeled to be cut at 1.75 millimeters in diameter, which would be a 3.5mm hole for the screw. But I cut on the inside of it, so therefore at a 1mm or 2mm diameter bit, I'm going to lose about a millimeter. So the point being is I keep these really tight, so it's almost like threading it. That's it. Fightfordads.com. That's it, man. I really would like to get people to see what happened in this court. You know, you can read about the gun that the judge asked for. You can read about her. I'm going to put the whole transcript up there. I mean, this is ridiculous. But yeah, please, if you could just pass it on. On the 30th, I intend to put the whole thing online. That way, if whatever happens and I end up going to jail, I want my kids to, to know the truth and not think that I did something. All right, so we put that in there, and then we're going to go ahead and get our standoff. And the gap on this standoff is 20 millimeters. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in there. And then I get another one here. We'll put that in there. Because I did say I would finish this build, and I do want to finish it. This is actually, oh, you know what? Now I see what you're asking me. On the motors, yes, these are the, I'm sorry, I thought you meant a different deal. So these are the motor ESC, yes. They are the combination where the ESC is contained in the motor. And that was the build that I was working on early, and I am going to finish that. So let me get that going real quick. So anyways, back to my $10,000 challenge that I'm going to let you guys know about, and you'll see it online on that website. So here's this first challenge. The first challenge is there was a statement made during the criminal investigation of this guy. His name is Tim Bruxford, by the way. I'm going to go ahead and call his piece of shit ass out right now. Tim Bruxford is the guy, and that would be the guy that thought it was cool to play this Mangina game and around a 6-year-old, 10-year-old, and 11-year-old, and then, whatever. Anyways, during the investigation, the DA, he had to get I want to say it's like a psychological evaluation. And during that time, they interviewed the kid's mom, my kid's mom, my ex-wife, right? And her comment was that she'd never seen it. This is all made up. The kids are lying. I taught them. I made them say this, or I coerced them into saying this, right? And then she said, not only did Tim not do these things, but I'm the one who did them to the kids. And she went on to say that she has witnesses, the kids' friends, as witnesses that she could bring forward. Well, in her deposition, that was a whole different story. That's what she said to keep this guy out of jail, right? So here's my challenge. $1,000 right off the bat. It's real simple. If anybody wants to come forward, and I urge you to pass it on, because if you're involved in it and you can help get these people forward, you're gonna make $1,000. $1,000. $2,000. We'll do it that way. I'll commit myself to $2,000. Bring me one person, anybody that says that I've ever done something that stupid or done anything like that. Please go ahead, and I'll pass you $2,000, and I will go ahead and turn myself in, I guess. So I'm going to go ahead and call it out. So Dr. Saunders is the idiot that did the report, right? And instead of interviewing me as well, he just took their word for it, and that was it. So thanks, Dr. Saunders, for really doing a shitty job on your part, and he ended up being on their side. So yeah, real good guy there. And for the mom to lie like that sucks, because I couldn't figure out why my kids, like on their birthday, some of their friends' parents won't let them come over now. And I'm like, seriously, I guess they think I've done this stuff. So I figured I'd put some money out there and see. All right, so we're going to solder this together here. And so, yeah, I mean, you know, it's amazing, because this guy was facing some serious charges, and this Dr. Saunders took their word for it and actually believed that and put it in his report, which the report will be online here shortly also, because I'm going to call his ass out because he's pathetic. And I'm going to go ahead and say, really, if I did this to kids, nobody said anything, come on. I mean, this is just a bunch of shit. However, when the deposition came, the story changed. Yes, it happened. Yes, this happened. It happened 10 times and this and that. The funny thing is, the judge wouldn't let us call the witness. Isn't that weird? So, needless to say, I promised my kids that the truth would come out, and it never did. But it will now. I mean, whatever price I pay for it, I've already paid by losing my time with them. But at least this douchebag's not allowed in their life, right? However, his pictures are still hung up in the house. Real concerning that the guy who the mom admits to seeing take part in inappropriate behavior, she leaves his pictures hung up in the house for my kids to look at. That's really awesome, right? You wonder how people get screwed up. But the court, that's best interest, I guess. All right, so I'm going to finish soldering these motors real quick. And then when we do that, then we can go ahead and get the rest of it started. I think the quick release idea is really good. And I think it's going to start becoming a part of most of my builds in the future. Just because of the fact that it's easy, and I don't think you have to really be in racing to do that. I think you could just enjoy it, you know, whether you're just having fun flying. You don't have to have all your stuff, you know, it's not hard to, you know, break an arm and you've got another one sitting there and it takes all of 10 seconds to swap out, right? So I think it's going to be something that we start putting into more of the builds that we do. And I apologize for my language, guys. I know that I have some younger viewers, and I really should have said something ahead of time, which was, but, you know, it's my fault. I didn't plan on even saying all that, not till later in the month, so please accept my apology. But I do believe you want to put your hands on kids. Man, I tell you what, I'd like to take them back to my hometown for a little bit. But I'm teaching my kids to trust the legal system. So far, I haven't taught them that well. All right, my own multi-GP. Oh man, that would be awesome, Aaron. Dude, let's do it. You get your own chapter. That's awesome. You keep me posted on how that goes. All right, so this is the Dal RC board, right? So it's got everything built in, and so we've done the motors now, and so now we're going to go ahead and just finish zip tying the motors down, and we'll take it from there. All right. So let's do that. So that's going to be one zip tie. We'll put the second one in. Aaron, when do you find out if you get it? It'd be kind of cool, man. I think that's going to be really awesome. Oh, I didn't see that that light was in the way, guys. I'm totally sorry. We'll do it this way. Let's do it that way. I apologize. Shit, y'all gotta tell me these things. No, I can't see this, so let's try this. There, we'll do it that way. That way if I do look through this thing, it's not getting in the camera view, I guess. I can look straight down. Okay. Oh, cool, man. Keep me posted. Keep me posted. I wish you the best on that. All right. Let's see. We got one more zip tie, I think, or a couple more, and then we'll be good to finish out the board, and then see where we're at. And then you guys can kind of chime in on the frame and any questions you have, and feel free to ask along the way. I mean, if you have any questions or you want to see any product, or you know, I mean, I talked about putting stuff on sale. I really don't know what it is that everybody wants. One person will say one thing, and then I go put that on sale, and I don't know, everybody else wants something else. So I'd like to just have something planned to get you all taken care of. I've got a ton of inventory to move. If you've been here, you know how much I have. So I'd like to start moving some of it and start focusing back on my frames a little bit. So y'all just keep me posted. There's a ton of stuff to pick from, at least. And then if you have any frame ideas, like oops, I put that on backwards. If you want to see something in a frame, are you doing all, no, these are not clockwise and counterclockwise. These are counterclockwise and clockwise motors. This set comes like that. The weird part is that, like I was saying in the video when I first started this build a couple days ago, is Black Widow, which is, what is that? Oh my God, is it Z motor? I can't remember right now. I've totally just gone brain dead right now. They actually label their motors based on the washer. I mean, not the washer, the fastener. So it's, if the motor is, if it says CW, it actually means that you're going to turn the prop nut or the fastener counterclockwise or clockwise. So this motor right here, it says that it's a let me see, it's a CCW motor. Okay, this is actually a clockwise motor, but the top tightens down counterclockwise. That's what they refer to. I don't know why they did that, but if you're not prepared for that, you will put your motors on backwards. So take that as a tip. Now, most people don't buy these motors. They don't know much about them. I was saying that in the video earlier this week. It's really more of a foreign motor. Like, a lot of people in the UK use it, pretty much everywhere else, but in the US it just wasn't, I guess it wasn't here. Well, I bought a couple thousand of them, and I've had them hoarding here. They're up there on my counter, on my in my box up there, and I really didn't want to sell them because I like them a lot, but I've got a lot more motors in stock, and I need to start moving some. So you guys can see this. It's a good intro motor. It's fast, it's pretty strong, but again, it is an ESC built in. You're not going to be able to modify it beyond that, and it is I believe you're going to be maxed at 4S, I think, on these. Okay, so we've got the motors all done down. On the frame, everything's good. Now, the frame is designed, the way this is done is, I showed you guys before, is these are like airbags right here, right? I mean, these are the weirdest. I like them, they're thick, but I mean, like, you've got to, let me see if I can get a zoom in here. So, whoa, let me get over here. So this is what I'm working with. Like, these little vibration pads, I mean, they're going to squish down to like this, more like an airbag by the time it's done. These are considerably higher than most. And, I mean, I guess I can't complain. As long as you can press them down, it shouldn't be an issue. But let me go ahead and straighten this back out. All right. So, got the motors in. And now what we're going to do is we can go ahead and put on the, yeah, a couple thousand motors, I know, right? We can go ahead and put on the, we can do the VTX. I was going to do the VTX from HGLRC that has a DVR built in. That's how I did mine, which is this one right here. So it's got the DVR built, it's got the VTX and DVR combo, or we can do whatever else we want to do. But let me go ahead and get kind of lined up here on this. So what I did in this case on this frame is I took one of these. Now these are on the site now. I've got these on my website. Let me grab it real quick. So these are those. Yeah, I know, I know. So these are the, you know, you could bolt these XT60 connectors down, right? So what I did is I slotted it out on the side here. It doesn't need to be, because there's only a 20 millimeter gap here, this isn't going to fall out. So I didn't worry about making it fastened so much. A little room never really hurt. So what I did is I cut it like this, so it would sit at this angle. And because of the way it's done, the LiPo power will go right in here and never hit the, yeah, it's pretty sick, right? Come in here and, I mean, it's like going to Home Depot for me. I mean, I go in Home Depot and just start singing to me. So anyway, so this is designed to sit like this, and then the way it's going to house in is we're going to put 20 millimeter spacers throughout the whole thing, standoffs. So in this case, to fasten this down, a standoff goes right here. And I'm not going to finish assembling this till I know exactly what I'm going to do on here. But I will go ahead and put the, let me grab one of the DVRs. Give me 1 second here. To give you guys an idea, I don't know if you can see this box. Yeah, I guess you can if you look at the corner there. This is DVRs, right? And a few other things. That's just one bin. I mean, it's just so much stuff. And I think I'm a hoarder. At this point, I might be a hoarder. My wife says I am. All right, so let's see what we got. DVR, HDLRC, DVR, there we go. So we'll go ahead and grab one of those. Let's go ahead and put this away. All right. Okay. You guys are nuts. All right, let's cut this open. Those are, these are, oh, do I have a box still? These are Black Widow motors. They're not on my website because like I said, I just decided I'm going to go ahead and let my stash of them go. But I was just kind of hoarding them for a while for me. I had a box here. Hold on. I think I have a box here somewhere I threw out. In one of these little bins. Hold on, I'll find it and I'll show you what I'm working with here. Okay, so I have just thrown this box out, but basically an idea. So they're Black Widow motors. This is what the box looks like. And they get pretty pricey. I mean, they're not scared to charge for this, but they're good motors. So this is the 2300. This is the 2204 2300 kV. It's got a 20 amp ESC built in. It's like 18 amp, 20 amp, burst at 28 or 30. And yeah, ZTW is the company. So they make a lot of product. We have some of their ESCs online, but you can check this out. I mean, they make a hell of a motor. But, you know, the downside, like everybody points out, is when you have an ESC built into a motor and you screw up your ESC, we should, yeah. I've got, as a matter of fact, I had a guy here yesterday, Romeo, real cool guy, and I was like, hey man, if you get some extra time, I could use some help here sorting this stuff out. We went to the other garage and it's like 30,000 props there, and I'm like, man, I really need to do some inventory, so hopefully I can get some people to help me. But the motors are really cool. I think you'd like them. I like them a lot. They did break, you know, like, I mean, they do break when you get them wet and stuff, which is like a normal motor. The only difference is you lose your ESC and your motor, but depending on what you pay for them, I mean, it should be all right. Okay, so here is the HDLRC DVR and VTX and DVR combo. Let me see if I can just get in there a little bit more. Okay, let me just do that. There we go. So anyways, it's got the, you got an SD card at the bottom, right? So you got your SD port, and then you got your full DVR. I mean, it's I believe it's still 600 milliwatt. And I'm pretty sure it is, so let me just check that out. Well, anyway, let's just go off of the fact that it is, because I'm pretty sure that's what I read, but I have now 500 milliwatt, yeah, 500, sorry, not 600. So it goes from 25 to 500, and it's got everything else that you need, so it's good. Now, it's not an HD recorder. Yeah, the ESC is built into the motor, so if you look at this motor, right, I'm going to try to get this as close as I can, and so you see how it's stacked like this, right? So right below this is the ESC, and I don't know if you can kind of see in that gap there. You're going to see some looked like 3 solder points there. That's actually ESC, and so it's built in there. So yeah, it's pretty neat, and like I said, it's real easy. Let me get this hot glue on and figure out how we're going to mount this, and make sure that we can get this thing squished down properly. Yeah, it looks right. All right, so we are going to go ahead now and pick a receiver and get our VTX hooked up. And for the VTX, it's going to be pretty simple. They are going to, on the VTX, they have the standard ports, standard power and everything, and then you have your smart audio, which we're going to go ahead and connect. And so if you guys want to see that, I mean, I'm kind of just going through this because I did say I would build this, and I felt bad that I didn't finish because we had an outage. All right, so let me go ahead and get the board ready. Yeah, it is tall because of that, which for me, it was a benefit because I was using racecraft props. So when I added racecraft to these, it was super tall. So I could really didn't have to worry about making low pro. But I started out with these motors, and I was still 3D printing drones. And then I realized that the PLA melts in the heat outside in Texas, and that was the end of that. But it was a good starting point when I got started. All right, so let's just get this ready. Okay, so there's that. You got it, Billy. Hey, Billy, I know I didn't get your email. I got stuck up hanging some of this other stuff up, but when I'm done with this video, I'm actually going to sit down there and resend it. I think I actually sent it to a different Billy by accident. That's my fault. A couple days ago in California, and that was my mistake. All right, so let's just go ahead and wire this up real quick. We'll kind of give a zoom in here. I don't know if that's going to stay clear, but we can try. All right, so on this VTX, we've got, HTLRC did a good job of giving the wires pre-cut at a really good length, so I don't really have to mess with them. And so we've got our everything like this, and here's our video in. So we're going to go ahead and grab this one right here. It shouldn't be but a couple seconds. There we go. And we will take our, I'm not going to feed the camera. I may feed the camera from here. I don't think so. I think I'll go straight from the board itself, from the flight controller. But I'm going to go ahead and get my 7 to 26 volts. So you remember, a 5-volt pad will not work on this. And I'm starting to see that more people are having a hard time with that because they assume a 5-volt pad will work on a lot of things, and it won't. So please pay attention to that. Let me just get a little bit more on here. All right. Now let's get this on there. All right. And we'll get our ground. Sit still. There you go. And I'm not going to worry about the 5-volt in the ground here because I'm not going to use them. But I will put the smart audio right here. And that should be it. This is now wired, okay? So we'll remove the excess wires that we don't need. Tinning wires. Okay, so here's a good tip, right? Here's a couple good things that I would recommend you do. And this is coming from somebody who knew nothing about soldering a short time ago. So here's the deal. There's 2 ways you can go about doing this, right? You can either let me just clear off this area and I'll show you real quick. So go buy yourself. Now, SRA is a company that I've talked about being a dealer for, but whether I am a dealer or not for them, go to Amazon. And let me see if I can zoom in on that product there. So you can get some of this flux, right? Or you can get, everybody's seen me use this pen. And remember, there are differences on flux pens. So you need to get the 99, number 99-20, okay? And these are 2 things that are going to be critical. The next thing that's critical, and I don't have, I peeled the label off, but I've shown this quite a few times. I didn't mean to peel it off. It just got stuck on something. But this is the Kester 6337 solder. This is a night. Now, I sent some to Julio in California. And Julio, I think you may still be on right now. I don't know. But I wanted you to try this because there is a, yeah, Julio's already, he said he burnt some. There's a night and day difference between using proper solder like this and using some of this other stuff that I see people using. The melting, the cooling, everything about it is different. So get yourself some of that. That's going to be the Kester. And I will put a link for all this under the on the page. So I will get that done for you. I apologize. So to tin your wires, there's 2 ways to do it, and let's just start with this one right here. I know I'm segueing out, but let's try it, okay? So I'm gonna cut this end off, and I'm gonna go ahead and strip the wire. Now the first rule is strip the wire a lot. I mean, if you're getting used to this, strip the wire a lot longer than you normally would, right? Because you obviously don't need this much wire, but you need to get a good grip on it to twist it up, because most of the time I see people's stuff go wrong. One of the strands has come out and it's touched something else. So first thing is to do that. Now, if you have the paste, you can go ahead, and I just started doing this, and you see all these holes in here. It's real easy. It's a thick paste, but all you do is just stick the wire in there. It won't bend. It'll take it, right? So you just do that. Well, I say it won't bend, but after a couple times it will, I guess, okay? Or you can go over it with the pen. Now, I usually go over it with the pen, but I just got the paste in. In either case, if you have the alligator teeth thing, whatever you call those, you can grab them, and I have some, but I don't know where I put them. They're over there stacked under something, but I will usually not use that anymore if I'm in a hurry. A lot of times I will just take these here, my wire strippers here, and even if I want to, you'll see me do this when I do an XT60. I'll just put a rubber band here just to hold the wire in place, right? I don't need to get all the extra stuff out. And then what you want to do is you take your solder, get a piece like this, about this length or so, and just just so you can hold it by your hand. And then all you're going to do is come at both sides and just go straight up. And there you go. Wire's tinned perfect. It is tinned perfect. It is even, and it is ready to go. And then from there, I always say to cut about 1 millimeter to 1.5 millimeters exposed. And that is your wire. And if I can put a background on this here, maybe that'll help. So if you can see that, yep, that's it. And that is a very well tinned wire, solid through, twisted tight, and ready to go. Okay, so I hope that helps. That's how I would tin these. On your board, same thing. Run your flux pen first on your pads, and let it sit for just a second, and then you can go through it. You don't have to worry about anything going wrong. All right, your solder won't spread, shouldn't spread, and cause problems anywhere else. So I hope that helps. But if you need any more stuff, you just let me know. All right, getting back to our quad. As far as the receiver goes, oh hell, I don't know what I want to use. I have so many of these darn things. I'm not really sure which one I really want to go with, but I'll grab, I don't know what this is. What is this? This is, I think it's an RXSR. Let me just check. No, this can't be RXSR. You see? Lost my mind at this point, and it's all mush. So, no, this is going to be a XM Plus. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'll use that. Why not? We'll just knock it out. So, again, this will follow the same thing. We'll just prep it. I mean, it says XM Plus, but that's really small. Let me see. Yeah, no, that's right. All right. So you run your flux pen on it, right? And you're good to go. And at this point, you can get ready to solder it. So we're going to go ahead and knock that out. Okay. And I get one of these brushes. I think I got them at Home Depot or something, but I would recommend you get one of these little wire brushes and just scrape off the tip of the soldering iron. I like that. It helps a lot. All right, so here we go. And that's going to be our ground right there, and that's going to be our 5 volt, and that's going to be our S plus, okay? So we're just going to do that. And since we already pre-tinned this wire, good job on that one, we'll go ahead and solder that on there. See, once you pre-tin it, man, it just kind of melts right into place perfectly. I mean, it couldn't be any better than that as far as how easy it is to get it to solder properly. So let's just do this one. And usually I will tape these things down so they don't roll, or I'll put this over it like this. I'm kind of gotten lazy on that just because I'm lazy. All right. And now I need one more wire. So let me just find something that I want to use, a color that I have laying around. I just cleaned up, so finding something is not going to be the easiest. Let me see. This is a yellow wire. Let me see if I can get this one. Tom out? All right. Tom, you're out? Where'd he go? Tom, can't really see the build. All right, Tom, you take it easy, brother. And I'll show you the build. I will finish it tonight, so you'll be able to see it in the morning when I post it, or I guess when you wake up. I appreciate you, Tom. I appreciate the support, guys, very much. All right, there's our yellow wire. So I'm gonna go ahead and use this one, and I need to cut it back just a little bit, it's a little too long. Okay, let's get that there, and let's just see if we can get a focus a little bit better. There we go. I guess that's better. David told me to get a better close-up camera, and he's right. So I'm gonna go ahead and have that for tomorrow. I just had not had the time yet. All right, so let's go ahead and get this on there, and we're ready to get going. There we go. Okay, so that's all done. I'm gonna go ahead and hit this with some hot glue just because I want to protect it here real quick. Let me just go ahead and lay that across the top. And then I'm gonna go ahead and reinforce these antennae because they will snap quickly. There we go. All right. And while that's cooling down, the idea here on this quad is gonna be that I'm gonna try to mount this somewhere about right here. I want it to be in the front. This is the front. And so I'd like it to go right there. While that's cooling off, we need to look at our VTX and figure out how much space we need between the VTX and the board to clear all the components. What I do know is that on the build I did, I needed a 3mm spacer. So what I like to do is, you could do one of two things. I need 3mm. I can either A, fasten this down and press it, and I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. So it really depends on how much room you have and what pieces of what material you have. So if I want to go this route so that I want to get my board pressed down and know what I'm working with, that's going to be too wide, but let me go ahead and use a nylon fastener here. All right, and by doing that, I can set my flight controller now and not have to worry about it later, so I can make the height for when I put the battery plate on. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. Let's go ahead and just kind of tighten this down. Okay. All right, so that part's down, and that's going to give me a good idea of how much space I have before I get to the top where I run out of thread to be able to put another final fastener on. Let me just go ahead and do this one real quick so I can get these all lined up the same. There we go. Okay. And now we'll just get the rest of these done. And then now you've got all this room to work with. And it should be just enough room to be able to finish the build. All right, so let me get this light up here and try to get some more light. There we go. Whoa, this light's driving me crazy. All right. Now, I'm not soldering anything, so I could give you guys an overshot view of this as well. That may help. I don't know, you may like that better, I guess, when I'm not doing that. All right. Okay, and then we'll do one more. And this is where I say, those are metal, I don't want metal. This is where I say, like, if you have access to a lot of nylon stuff, I like to run one solid screw through the whole build on each side. I don't like to use those nylon pieces that have that are threaded because they're really weak, and on impact they'll probably fall apart. But it's good to use, you know, the nylon for things like this, where you can use a fastener. All right, so in this case, it looks like I've got enough here. I think I do. I think that this is too small. This is too big. Let me use this one. All right. And I'm just looking to make sure the board sits level at this point, or if I haven't tightened one side down too much over another side. So let me go ahead and turn this one. That looks good. That looks good. And I think a little turn here, and I'm good. All right. So I think we're pretty safe on this. And you can see from the gap underneath, I don't know if you can look from there, we've got plenty of room there between the board and the frame. But just keep in mind, G10 is non-conductive. So I really don't care if the board touches the frame at this point. I'm not going to have it do it, just out of habit, but it wouldn't cause a problem at this point. All right, board's done. Now we know that I know that it's 3mm, so I'm 1 mil short of being able to clear this board. So I'm just going to grab these 1mm spacers and pop them on, just like this. Honestly, Julio, I get them from Amazon. Most of the time I'll get them from Amazon. I mean, I've been really happy with the turnaround time. As a matter of fact, I just got a shipment in. And, you know, I try to buy when they have a discount where if you buy, like, you know, they'll do some things where you, like, buy 4 bags of them or something like that, and you get a deal. So, but yeah, I usually go to Amazon. Now there are some screws like, man, there are some. I tell you what, you guys ever want to go try to find an expensive piece? Go look for one of these, right? Try to find one of these square ones, right, on Amazon, and it's like, I mean, they're dumb price. So you have to kind of dig around for those. I found a company in Houston that distributes them, so I got them cheaper. But I mean, they were like $300. I mean, stupid. Is that first board just a PDB? No, this is this. The board underneath here is the Dal RC. It's a it's a 405 all-in-one PDB and sorry, I'm trying to take this off. It's kind of on there tight. This is an all-in-one from Dal RC. And it's got the OSD on it. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit more. It's got everything on it built in. And it also has the pads for the PDB. So I sell these on the site, right? And I'm going to open one so you can see kind of, a buddy of mine, Julio Rodriguez here in Houston, is the one that pointed me to this company. And I mentioned that the last time I did this thing, but let me show you. So what I really liked about it was, let me get one of these opened. The fact that it's a pain to open is pretty good, actually. I mean, I like the packaging like this. I like the way they seal it. It definitely comes protected. But here's the cool part about this board. So the pads are super thick, and they're definitely enough room to connect an ESC without like really getting squished on this thing. So here's the board, right? I mean, look at these pads. I mean, they're huge. Sorry, let me get over there. There you go. So here's your ESC. You have your positive here and your ground here. Sorry, I had this upside down. So let me flip that over now. So you have your positive here and your ground here. And here's your signal. And you've got all your stuff here. I mean, you've got this is all VTX related. This is going to be your receiver and such that is going to go here. But plenty of room to easily solder your components together on this thing. So when I saw it, I was really impressed with it, and I thought, well, hell, we'll give it a shot. So if you want to compare it, and this is also a good board. I think I've got it sitting here. Let me see if I can grab it because I had one open. I thought I had it. I guess not. I had a Maytech 405 AIO also, and you can see the similarities, but there's definitely more room on this side. Is it here? Yeah. Yeah, this is kind of similar, right? So here's a Maytech. Okay. And, excuse me. So this is a 405 AIO from Maytech, and this is now this does not have SD card, excuse me, for your black box, right? But that's the only downside. But you could just see, I mean, pad-wise, it's definitely got a lot of room on it, and I did like how they kind of extended the board out. So if you've got the room for it, it's an excellent option. So I hope that helps answer your question. But if you want any more information on it, check it out on the website, or just send me an email, tarek@CycloneFPV.com, and I'll answer any questions I can or show you some more information on it. All right, so let's get back to our VTX. Now the VTX is going to go right here, and I'm going to block your image now, so let me switch to this here. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead and get started on this. Okay, so on the VTX, the idea here is to lay the board upside down and see how far we want to go with these wires. I like to keep them pretty thin, and I want them to run underneath. So the board's labeled pretty good here. It is set for 9 volt. I tested this with my ohm, with my voltmeter and my multimeter, and I did get higher than 9 out of these. But I'm sorry, it's up here. This is just the solder to tell the board which one. You can either just move it to 5 volt, or you keep it at 9 volt. By factory, it has 9 volt, but I got like 10 point something out of this. But in either case, that made it really good for VTX power and camera power. So they tell you here, they offer you here the ground, the power, the video in, and then they actually give you your, just like a Brain FPV did, they give you your OSD controller for your camera, and you plug that right in here. On this side, you're going to have your ground, your power, and that's pretty much going to be it. And you're going to feed this all the way through. And then let me see where else I was. You're going to have your smart audio right here, and this is your video transmitter will go right here. So everything here is going to go on this side, and the cameras are going to go on this side. Now hopefully that helps a little bit, but I'll show you guys here in a second. So I'm going to go ahead and measure these out. I know that I've got to be able to lift this up and go over, so I'm going to measure it out to about right here. That should make a pretty fair amount of wire, probably leaving a little too much even, but that's all right. So let's go ahead and strip these down, and we'll tin them, and we'll go ahead and put them on the board. Okay, so that's ready. I'm just going to go ahead and tin this up real quick. And you're welcome, David. If you have any other questions, like I said, man, just hit me up. I did also hear from Flight 1 today that I had just picked them up. They had just given us our dealer status, and we were back ordered already on something. And I just got emailed today. I think it's the flight controller for the 20mm stacks. So those, I got confirmation today, those did ship out, so we should have those any day now. All right, so let me go ahead and prep this up. There's 1, 2, 3. Oh, let me kind of give a little bit more room on this one. There we go. A little bit. All right. I'll tin that and we'll get started. I'll show you guys. This build won't take very long, I promise. We'll be done pretty quickly here. There we go. Okay, so that's good. That's going to be perfect length. So let's go ahead now and just solder these up real quick, and then I'll twist the whole thing up when I get it done. All right, so as I said, we have our pads already laid out. We are going to take our, we've got our well, it's going to be our 9-volt or 10-volt roughly right about here. We'll go ahead and hit that real quick. That's done. I'm going to go ahead and put my ground. All right, whoops. The board got stuck there. Hold on a second. There we go. Okay, and then we're going to take video, and then we're going to take our smart audio. Okay, that's done. Finished. Everything's connected. Our VTX is good. I'm going to go ahead and twist this up real quick, and then I'm going to try to tuck it in here, and let me put some glue down to hold everything in place and protect it. So we'll go ahead and do that. All right, there we go. All right, while that's drying, I have my camera here. So I'm going to grab a Caddx real quick. Let me go grab one. All right, so let me go ahead and open this Caddx real quick. And because this board supports the camera OSD, you're going to wire that wire as well. And so I'll show you exactly what that's going to do. So there's that one. That wouldn't carry it. So you need this cable right here that comes with the Caddx, right? And because you're going to be wiring the whole setup. So untwist it. All right. Let's do this here. There we go. Now you can see my ugly face again. All right. Untwist it and then get your wire set. And so based on, you can kind of estimate the length that you need here, but my guess is we are going to go, let me get all this out of here. This is how my desk gets dirty. Hold on a second. There we go. All right. So our camera is going to go right here. And so our length of wire is only going to be, maybe about 50 millimeters or so, maybe a little bit more, give or take. So go ahead and just snip those out right there. Give yourself a little room on that because it's not pressed for space here. I will take the ground, even though these two grounds are linked. I believe they've got them coming out of the same port. So technically you do not have to connect it, but so you can eliminate one if you want. I'm just going to twist them together and use them both as one wire. It's just a habit. This way I don't make the mistake of omitting a wire that I did need. So let me go ahead and get this ready, and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. And in this case, you're going to want to strip off a lot more because you are going to be twisting these together, and you need to have enough strand available for that. So let me just do that real quick. All right, so there's that. We'll tin that one up in a second. And now we have our standard here. This is the OSD, which will go right here under the, you can see that right here. So you've got your ground, 5 volt or 9 volt, video, and then your OSD is going to go right there. And this, again, this is OSD for the camera, not OSD for the quad. So two different things. This is the one where you get this little thing right here. Well, you don't need that anymore if you have a board that has this control. All right, let me twist this up. Okay, let me tin these real quick, and we will get to it. Okay, that's done. Cut them to the length that you need. And the good rule of thumb, guys, is please make sure to clean these little metal things. I got them stuck in a motor, and so I learned my lesson. So learn from me. Don't make the same mistake I did. Get all that crap off the desk. All right, let's get this wired up. I don't need this connected anymore. And here we go. Okay, everything there looks good. Those are done. Go ahead and protect those real quick. And that's it. Now the VTX can go on. I'll twist up my camera wire. Not too much though, there you go. All right, so that part's done. So while that glue is drying, I don't have an aerosol can here, air can to dry that cooler quicker, but we'll just wait a second. Everything else looks good here. So we're done with this side of the board except for putting in our receiver. And the way I want to do the receiver, and I did this on mine, is the receiver is actually going to come out on the front, like you can see here. If you look at this one, the antennas are actually coming out the front. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing. So I'm going to feed this through real quick. Let me see the way I wanted to do that. All right, so I gotta get my double-sided tape because I made this gap 20 millimeters thick, and that is a perfect length to be able to fit things like the receiver. So I'm gonna put my double-sided tape, and you'll see it's gonna go right here, right in this slot. Okay, and what that does is it'll be underneath the camera, but it's between the slots where the arms go. let me take this off. Okay. And instead of, I'm not going to heat shrink this. I'm not going to put anything around it today because I don't know if I'm going to keep this on here when I'm done. But I am going to go ahead and give me a little bit of glue. And I'm going to go ahead and fasten this down. Now once this dries, this is going to hold super strong. So don't worry about anything coming loose or it flying off. It should be good. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these and run them out the front like I did on mine. So they're going to go, the antennas are going to come out on the side here, and there's plenty of room for that. All right, so with that done, I'm just going to go ahead and solder up the receiver wires and get all these little strings out of here. And your receiver wire is going to go just like this. So you have your S-bus, 5-volt ground. And you will use these for your smart port if you're using it, but these are UARTs that will not be, those will be uninverted. So if you're running an inverted smart port, then no, you need to use a soft serial or find a port that will work. But I believe in this case you would end up using a soft serial, which would be like UART 1 maybe. And I did a video on that recently on the Racer Star, but the same video applies to all the F4s pretty much on how to program your soft serial. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and strip these real quick, and kind of left the wires a little long, I think, but that's all right. Yeah, if you guys need to, if you're having a hard time with soft serial, activating it or mapping resources to it so you can use inverted telemetry, or you can do something else like on an LED pad, you can run smart port or whatever it is. There's a video I just did on it. Just look it up on the website under the Racer Star, I believe, and that should help you out quite a bit. All right, so let's just get this done. Let's tin these real quick. 1, 2, and 3. All right, there we go. Cut the excess off. Don't forget to do that. All right, and that's it. Now it's time to solder these down. Right now we're going to be done very quickly here. All right, so ground is right here. And that's done. 5 volts right here. That's done. And S-bus right here. And that's done. Perfect. All right, we're getting very close to being finished. That'll sit still. This will come over now. It will mount down. And that gives me plenty of room. There's enough gap there and enough room for the wiring. So we'll go ahead and fasten it. That's it. Now we still have to add the XT60 over here, but I haven't forgotten about it. It's just that it's not a pressing issue right now. So let me just tighten this down and keep everything even. David, I'm trying to read your post, but it's I have to click a button to see where it says see more, so just give me a little bit. I'll go back and read what you wrote. Or I'll go back and read the rest of it. It says, build a larger quad after flying, and then the next word starts with a W, and I can't see anything else after that. So I'll have to go back there and check it out. All right, so my rule of thumb on these is just make sure all the spacers are even. I mean, all the fasteners are even. Try to get them to where they are flush if possible, and be careful on this one because it will knock that capacitor right off if you try to use a tool. So you're gonna have to just kind of use your fat nubs there like me and just try to tighten it by hand, I guess. I don't think I'm gonna get that one to go down much further, and this one did not go down very much. So let me just see where I'm at here. I'm just going to try to keep this tool at an angle so it doesn't hit that capacitor. There we go. And I think that looks decent. So let's tighten this one just a little bit. All right. So I'd say we're good here. Everything looks pretty good. Nothing is touching. You can look under the board and see that there's nothing touching. I have access to my SD card slot right here. So it looks pretty clean. Let me kind of zoom in there and you can see that, I think. Yeah, so we've got our SD card slot, so everything looks like it's easily accessible, and there is a gap between the two, which is just enough to be able to, it's got the wire separating between it, so it's not going to be an issue. All right, so we're done with this. We're done with that. The only thing left to do really is to do our XT60, and like I said, we're going to use that plug, and I believe I already tinned this board. Put flux on this board, but let me just make sure. And in this case, I'm going to lay the capacitor, and I made a mistake here because I meant to put the capacitor on the bottom pads. I did that on mine by accident. I forgot to do that. I said I wouldn't do it again, but I did. So I'm going to show you how I did this, just with enough room. So again, you don't want to overheat this board, so just kind of keep it just like that. All right, and so there, it's time to get some wiring for this. And because the run is going to be very short, I'm not really worried about going with super thick wiring. So let me see what I want to use. I'm going to go. All right, so let me grab this. I thought there was a ground in here. There is. Come on already. There we go. Okay. It's a gem fan ESC that I won't use anymore, so I don't mind blowing the wire. All right, so where am I at now? I need to use this, and I need this here. All right. I know that this piece is going to sit right here. Right, and I know this is here, and my capacitor is going to be right here, so I'm going to try to give myself enough wire to get here. So I would probably say whatever this measurement is here, which is going to be probably about, I don't know, let's see, it says 40, so let's just say we're going to use about 40 millimeters of wire here. So now we just got to get our XT60 wired up, and here's what we're going to do. All right, and remember the flat side is going to be positive, so we're going to go ahead and do I've got the ground wire in my hand, so I'm just going to go ahead and do the round side first here. Best way to do this is to keep the iron there and just kind of fill this little piece up, right? And then just remember, you can melt this plastic, so be careful, but just hold it there long enough, and once you're comfortable with it, let it go. The wire will start to burn your fingers. It hurts a little bit. Deal with it, but now it's good, solid. And you don't have any extra stuff pouring out, so you're good to go. I'm going to do the same on this side. Now, trying to do this in this angle is impossible, so let me just turn it around. And this one's getting messy already. Wonderful. All right, so again, same thing. Hold it down. Need it to be liquidy, runny. There you go. Make sure it's all okay. I'll clean that part up in a second, but just hold it down. Wire's going to start burning. Again, it sucks, and you're good. All right, so wires are set. Now you need to put some heat shrink on this, and this is very hot right now, but this is good to go for the time being. So let me get some heat shrink, and we'll use a black and a red, and let me find one that's going to fit. There we go. Perfect. Heat those up. All right. That's good. Now something that I'll do a little different is I will go ahead and just put some glue right here in this gap and try to just kind of seal this off so these heat shrinks don't ever move or try not to move under stress when flex or anything. So I'll just put this on there just to kind of fill up the little space. That's it. There's no harm in doing it. All right, so there you go. Now I'm gonna let that cool. And we've got our quad pretty much, we've got our receiver in, we've got our flight controller in, we've got our VTX in, we've got our motors in, our ESCs are in the motor, so those are in. And so really all that's left is getting this piece done and then you're good to go. So here's what I did. I take the, this is the capacitor that I'm using right now, right? So that's a Sanyo 1000, I think this is a Sanyo, yeah, it's Sanyo 35 volt. All right, so I'm gonna lay it sideways like this because I know that that's about as much room as I've got, right? And we all know that the line, the side that has these lines on it is the ground. Don't make the mistake I did, okay? Because it explodes and it's pretty damn loud. So you've got your positive here and your ground here. So depending on how I want to lay this out, no matter what, I'm going to be feeding it directly from the wire into the system like that. So I'll probably go this direction and get this to feed like that. So I need to cut back the power. And I will put a heat shrink on this, but let me just show you what I'm doing first. So I'm going to go ahead and measure this out. And I think I'm going to cut the power back by about 5 millimeters. Like this. Which should kind of get me laying right there. And then I will leave the ground. I'll cut the ground about 1 millimeter. Alright? And that's all it's going to take. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of double-sided tape, cut it, just like I did for the receiver. Throw that out. Lay it down here. And this is just going to fit and clear the pads right here. Okay, so let me just go ahead and shrink this real quick. Give it that exhaust look like we did before. Let me make sure I got heat shrink that works, that fits this. Okay, let me see what I got. Perfect. Okay, so when you do this, just kind of cut a little bit more than you need because you want it to kind of open up at the bottom here, and you can put some glue in there, or you can, and then you'll cap the top off and it'll look like an exhaust when you're done heating it, look like a muffler. So that's what I'm gonna do here. So there's that, and now I'm gonna go ahead and get this ready to heat shrink. There we go. And you'll see what I'm talking about here in a second. And there you go. So the heat shrink is now protected, and it looks like a cool little exhaust pipe, right? Like a little stack. Okay, so we're going to put that here, just like this, and it will stay in place by glue. And then we know the, and plus these wires are going to be soldered into it, but we want to make sure that we get it done right. So glue will also be holding it in place, and we'll do it just like that. All right, so let me cut a little bit more back on this part, and we're ready to get started. And I'll show you exactly what that looks like. First thing, we'll take our double-sided tape out. Okay, and we'll get our glue gun and drop a little bit of glue right here. And then we're going to go ahead and put our capacitor in place. And we're not going to be done with the glue, but this is pretty much just to hold it in place right now. Now, as you can see, our cap is in place. We're going to drop some glue around the perimeter of it, but I also want to make sure that my wires are reaching before I permanently make that change, because I can still heat the glue up and turn it if I need to. But this looks fairly decent here. So I'm going to go ahead and put some more solder on those pads and just get ready to put the XT60 together now. Get this out of the way. All right, there we go. And our XT60 is right here. I know we're running it like about that much. So I'm going to heat these wires up so they'll bend. That'll be the first thing I do so I can get an idea of how much wire I need. I'll go ahead and just heat that up. And as I'm heating it, I'm just going to bend it, and then when it cools, it'll hold that shape, and we'll be good to go. Okay, so we're going to come out like this, and come on down. So I'm going to probably cut about 5 millimeters off of this, and that's about it. If I have any excess wire, it'll help to just push it aside. All right, so now we'll go ahead and strip them, tin them, and solder them in. And get this rubber band off these strippers because they're taking too much. All right. Go ahead and tin this up real quick. There we go. And now we can jump on and link, if we have, hopefully I've left enough room for it, we can put our capacitor leads, right? So let me just make sure I've got enough room for it. And I will also tin these just a little bit. The ground looks like I may have cut it a little short. If I did, I'll just extend the wire, no big deal. Okay. Let me see if I can get this to reach right there. Well, it's close. For now, I'll just get it to hold, and then I'll come back and correct that later. I just want it to hold for testing. So let me just go ahead and put that on there. There we go. Okay, we'll just leave that just like it is for now for testing, but I'll come back later and clean that up. All right, do you strip the other ends or just dip the XT60? No, they actually already, they came stripped. The one side of the wire was already stripped. That's the side I put onto the plug, and the other side I just stripped now and dipped those. So I only ended up stripping one side because it came from the factory. That wire, I think it was on a build I did a couple days ago, so that wire was already stripped for me. All right, so that's all done, and we'll do a continuity test here in just a second, just to make sure before I close it up. But we're in the final stretch of this thing, and this wire is intended to sit just like this. And there it is. And I'll show you exactly what we're looking for here in a second. But right now I wanted to make sure before I close this up that that everything's clean on the wiring side. Okay, so let me do that. Okay, everything looks good there. Everything looks good here. And I'll test a couple grounds. Everything looks good there. So everything looks pretty clean. It looks like it's ready to go. So we're going to go ahead and get this part ready, and then we're going to get our camera put in, and we're going to be pretty much rock and rolling here. So here's our camera. I guess I'll go ahead and put the camera on first. Go ahead and do that. So we got some light finally. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this done, and we will start with this side. So it's a pretty simple part right here. Just gonna mount the camera in, tighten it, and this part will be finished. Okay, excellent. And while I'm at it, I guess I will use orange. We'll go with orange this time. Maybe orange is a good color to use, so that should be, yeah, that's right. Need a 7mm screw. Okay, and then put another one. There's two more to go in the back. And this thing's about done. I'm very excited. I've been saying that for a while, and now it's actually happening. Alright, so that one side is done. We can pretty much just get this thing ready. Gonna fit it in there. The wire's gonna kind of bend around it, which is perfect. This is gonna lay in here. And you'll notice here pretty quickly that you'll still have access to all your stuff. The way I designed this was so that you could get into it quickly, including access to the flight controller or VTX or anything else. I mean, so there's only going to be 4 screws to break this board down to get to where I'm at now. So you really don't have to worry about having too much downtime. All right, so that's that part. Now we're just going to go ahead and put the other side on. There you go. Kind of put the screw. I was almost re-threading this thing, so I gotta be careful here not to strip this stand off. So once I can't see. Hold on. Well, now I've already started rethreading it. I might as well just try to finish the thing off. So hold on. I'll just change the spacer out. It's not looking good this way. Unless I got a bad screw here. Yeah, the screw looks like it's stripped. So let me see if I can put something else in here. If not, I may need to replace the spacer. But let me see. No, I think it's going. It's just, it was a bad screw. All right. So there's that. All right, and now we'll go ahead and put the next camera screw in. And there we go. And that's pretty much it. And then I've got to put one more piece on the back. Now, I probably shouldn't have tightened these too much because getting them in those slots is going to be kind of tough. So I may loosen them back up here. But I'm kind of eager to give you guys the idea of what we're working with. And then we do know that these are going to be coming to the back. So I can just bring these out. These are the antenna wire for the receiver. I'll just bring them out now, I guess, and pull them up if I can get to them. If not, I'll use the tweezers when I'm done here. So there we go. And here we go. Let's get this one. There you go. All right. Whatever. There. Now fit everything in line. Like I said, once you tighten that down, it may be a little tough to pop this in, but if you just take your time, it will snap right in. Or else, there you go. There's one. And there it is. Okay, now it's going to be such a tight fit that it doesn't need the brace on it to hold it right now. It's going to stay down on its own because it's pretty tight fit into there. Let me get this out of the way, and we're going to put the top on, and you guys can see an idea of what we're working with. And then let me get this out of the way. Excellent. There we go. So we've got our antenna wire there. Put some glue right here for me. Just make sure that these stay in place. Give me some glue right here and here. Even though I got to take that off, I still want it to be okay for now. Looks like it's good. All right. Got these little strings on. All right. So the final thing is going to be the battery plate, right, which is right here. So we're going to go ahead and I have not polished these or sanded these. I think I did a light sanding. So they're going to kind of have a more dull side look to them, but they're pretty solid though. So let me just get one of these out. All right, here we go. Thread lock, these connections are okay. These connections, no. Motor connections, yes. I would definitely use some thread lock for that. So motor connections for sure. I have no doubt that that's a very valuable thing to do. And I have sometimes skipped doing it because I've just been in a hurry and I have damage my components because of it. So because the screw falls out, then my motor's working overtime, it's not flying right, so then it ends up heat up and burning up. So yeah, I would definitely use some what's it called? Tough what's that called? Loctite. Got a little bottle sitting here to my right. All right, so I'm going to put this top layer on. Now the rest of these screws, no, they're going to stay in pretty solid. I mean, these they're gonna sit in here real solid, so you shouldn't have a problem with that. And this is about done. So let me just get that tightened. Okay, and 2 more screws, and that'll be fastened. And all I'll do is put the antenna heat shrink on, and this sucker is good to fly. And then you guys can give me an idea of what you think. But it's a pretty low profile. Pretty low profile frame. Let me see where I'm at here. There we go. Oh, this didn't pop in properly. Let me just make that fit. 1 second. There we go. Now it's fitting, and now that's going to close up nicely. All right. Okay, everything is fastened. Let me go ahead and tighten this back down. And get this other side. And like I said, you know, I did not make this permanent fasten, right? I mean, it's got some room, but this room is nothing. And I really don't think it's absolutely no problem for the quad at all. And I could probably find some positives to why it could stay that way. and not pressing down too hard. But right now, let's just get some of this. See, I'm using orange standoffs, black standoffs. I mean, I got every color possible. Let me grab. Go with white. I know. It makes no sense, so I'll do it. I don't match colors or anything else. Okay, so this one is going to be more of a racing frame, and the reason I would say that is it really doesn't accommodate a secondary camera, but it does have the DVR built inside. The idea behind this is pretty simple, though. I would say it's more of a racing frame. It's a low-profile frame, and it was designed to be a quick release frame, but it would be fine for freestyle. I mean, you've got your battery plate up here, but you could easily mount your battery below, and you could put a camera at the top. I mean, I try not to make them one or the other, but this initial design was done for a racing purpose, meaning that it was easy to take apart and quick to change out the parts, but you could use it for either one. You wouldn't have a problem. But that's really what it comes down to. Freestyle is usually heavier, and you can therefore incorporate more things. Racing is tending to be lighter, but sometimes I get caught in all the extras and my racing frames become a little heavy. But I would use it for either one. I mean, I don't think there's an issue there. Okay, so on mine, I came to the back. Yeah, there it is, just like that. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get these antennas, protectors, or the heat shrinks added, and I'll give you guys a final picture of what we got. Just go ahead and get this on. I didn't notice this wire had poked out, so let me just get that back in there real quick. There we go. All right. And there's another one. Go ahead and put that heat shrink on there. Yeah, I do have your shipping address, Julio. I do. Something tells me I have it. Yes, sir. There we go. All right, so let's get this one on. Okay, so there's our antennas right here, and I'm gonna bring them to the front this time. I think that looks kind of cool, so I'll put them right here. All right, and in doing so, I will put the zip ties there. So let's do that real quick, and kind of make this look pretty cool. All right. It's a short run, but we'll do it anyway. Almost done. This is it. I say that, I'm sure I'm forgetting something, but we'll see. Alright, so now we want to get these to kind of tilt back a little bit there. So best thing to do is just keep them heated, kind of bend them like this, and then just heat it up. And then let it cool down. There you go. See how they stay back like that? Came out, they stay back, they stay out of the way. They'll give you that angle. And the last thing to add now is gonna be the pad here. So let me go grab that real quick. Ooh, that's nice looking. I like this, man. I think this is a pretty sharp one. Give me 1 second. Okay, here's our pad, and we're gonna cut it to fit. So I had an X-Acto knife here, and I have the battery here. And what I'm trying to do is get it out of the way of the lipo straps, okay? So basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mark this to have it come in where the lipo straps are, right? So right about, I'll turn it here, I'll turn it here. And then I will tell it that I want to come in about that much. So let's see where my cut is. All right. That's a good start. My other cut is right here. I'll go ahead and, yep, that looks about right. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, and then we'll do the duplicate on the other side. On the other side, here we go. Okay. Okay, that's gonna be close. Let's see. Yep, that looks good. That'll get right in there. So now go ahead and peel that off. Okay, there we go with that. Got our pad in there. And now all we need is our lipo strap. And we can give you a final look as to what this is gonna look like. So let me grab a lipo strap real quick. see what I got. I only got like 500 of them. Where the hell did they go? Alright, got one. I just grabbed a red one. So now I've just got to, let me see, how did I do mine? I went under. Probably better if I took the battery thing off, but should have probably done this before I put the plate on, but no problem. Just going to feed this through. Nope, I'm not. I'm just going to take it off real quick. I don't want to mess with any of the stuff I've already connected, so let me just remove this and we're good to go. That's my Roomba. Okay, there we go. I'll go grab a lipo and we'll see how this looks. Are these the, yes, they are. That is correct. These are the motors with the ESCs built in. And I will try to have them, on the website here by the weekend. Like I said, there's a ton of them. Oh, a ton. Had a little too much of a shopping spree back in the day. So I will be moving them. Start off with a certain set. I mean, I'll probably keep some, but I mean, probably put at least 500 or so online. Are these the motor? Yes, they are. Okay. All right, so there it is. I am missing 1, 2. No, I'm not missing anything. Everything's good. All right, so the build is final. Okay, and here's what we've got. So it is, I can give you a weight here in just a second. These motors are heavy. Like I said, they do have, since they have the ESCs built in. The only thing I did not attach here is the VTX antenna because I'm not sure which one I want to put on yet. But that would just come out the back right here. And usually what I will do is I will take a zip tie. I mean, this is a new build, so, but I will run the zip tie here, fold it over, and then the VTX antenna can come up here. On mine, I ran out the side because I ran a different one, but let me go get a lipo and a scale. Here's a lipo. All right, and I will, in this case, I will usually stand them up that way to keep it narrow. And here's the scale. Now again, keep in mind, these are heavy motors, so this is gonna probably weigh a little bit more than you might be expecting, but that is, the frame itself weighs 125 grams, if I'm not mistaken. So, but these are heavy motors. So with lipo and everything, I don't know if you can see the scale. I guess you can't. Here, I'll turn it around. Okay. Oops, sorry. So, there you go. So this is weight with lipo, 475. No props, so add a couple more per prop. But that's it. Things should be pretty powerful. Now, let's hope it doesn't fry when I plug it in. I don't know, it's late, and I don't know if I've missed something, but let me tighten this down and give you an idea what the final looks like. Okay, we'll make sure that's straight, everything looks good. Photo op, photo op. Okay, there it is. Yeah, that's a 4S. That's a LIH, that's a high voltage 4S, okay? So, all right. Looks like we got something working there, and I'm happy. Yep, okay. So now it's time to get over to Betaflight, and I get it programmed, and I will show you guys what the end result is on that. And I've got to move my motors around. I had them all kind of wappy-jawed with the tops here. So I will, no smoke, I know. A success again. I will get this ready and then show you guys a final tomorrow, I guess, and take it for a test flight along with the other one that I built, which is running the, you know, I have some, hold on a second, I have some red props here. Let me put some on so you can get an idea. This is going to look pretty cool, I think. Hopefully I have 4 of them. I have 3 red props. I don't know how I only have 3, but there are 3. But this is the Racecraft 5051s. These are pretty strong props. Give me an idea. I'm just going to throw them on. I don't even know if I'm putting them on. I'm not worried about the direction right now. I'm just going to put them on. All right, now I'm not going to put the back one on. I only have one. I don't know on my bench where I put the other one. But there it is. So, pretty cool, huh? I really like this. And I think I mean, I hover tested mine, and it was a beast. And there you go. So these two are somewhat identical. I don't know if you can see them both in the shot. But if I shrink this down, there you go. And there it is. All right. So this is running on the Tyrannus. This will run any of the FlySky. That's the module that I put in there. But I mean, if you want a Spectrum, that's fine. You just have to let me know. Okay, well, I tell you what, let me switch stuff here real quick, and we'll call it a day. Hold on. There you go. All right. So, I mean, all I can do is, how do these motors compare with one another? Oh, yeah, I guess we could stay open for a couple questions. Okay, so how do they compare? They're they're good motors. I mean, like I said, they were my favorite, all right? But that was back when my demand on motors wasn't as high. So are these, all right, thank you very much, guys. Are these T-Motor level or Brother Hobby level? No, they're not. ZTW, who makes this motor, makes a line that is like that. It doesn't have a built-in ESC. These are space-saving motors that are easy for somebody to build with, okay? So I wouldn't expect them to be in a race. I would expect them to be fun to fly. And the reason I used them was because I had talked about them in regards to with the board, with the DalRC board, having the PDB and having everything built on board. You could literally build a very small thing with this. I mean, this build could be 10 millimeters tall if it needed to be. On this 6S, absolutely not. You'll blow them. No, it's not going to happen. I mean, this is a 3S, 4S maybe. That's it. It's the only reason of doing this build was to show what the motors were like. I mean, they're very responsive. They are quick, but a lot of things have changed since these come out, and I think these are great entry to mid-level motors with the ease of having the ESC built in, so you don't have to worry about too much stuff. So no, I wouldn't do that. Now, it will be fast. I mean, there's no doubt it's gonna haul ass. But then you step up to something. I mean, like this one, I just put a bunch of power behind it. I mean, that's, like I said, that's running F80 motors, a T-Rex ESC, and I believe it's running the same board, though. I think I used the DalRC board. Yeah, I did the exact same board. So these two systems are identical in terms of same flight controller and same VTX, just different motor and ESC. So anyways, yeah, I will test this for you guys, and you'll see it's going to haul ass. It's just, I can't tell you that it's going to compete with a Brother Hobby or a T-Motor. It can't. But their other line is sick fast. And again, it's not something that's used here, but I have their other line with no AC, and it is screaming fast. But it's not as common here in the States. Anyway, so these are the arms, guys. I think you saw me sanding some earlier, and these are the sides. So the frame's going to be online. If there's anything I can help you with, any components or anything, please hit me up, shoot me an email, Tarek@CycloneFPV.com. And appreciate y'all very much. Have a great evening. What time is it, by the way? Oh, it's only 1 o'clock. We do another build. Anyways, I appreciate y'all, okay? And thanks for your support. I'm doing the best I can, and if I can improve, please don't hesitate to let me know how. And don't forget, stop by fightfordads.com. You'll check out the Facebook page. I have, like I said to some of y'all who are listening, I've got court on the 30th, and it would really help me if I knew that you guys had, you'll see what's going on then, but I'd appreciate it. All right, anyways, take care. Thanks a lot for your support, guys, and God bless. Have a great night, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.